Thank you, Mr. Breton. I'm here. Hello. As the Parliament's rapporteur on the cybersecurity file, I agree with you that it's quite important to make Europe fit for the digital age. And you already mentioned the e-commerce directive and you committed to the principle of liability. As Greens, we think that's quite important. In your written answers, you mentioned new rules to support European companies. And in July this year, you stated that it is likely that individuals will be paid for their data in the future, thus supporting a system where only the rich will be able to preserve their privacy. Now, some minutes ago, you called yourself a data commissioner. For us Greens, data protection is a consumer right and it's non-negotiable. How can we trust you as commissioner reading the statements you have made earlier this year about data protection, because you have as a commissioner to protect all European consumers also on data protection? And related to that, I will ask, will you come with proposals strengthening privacy and security, for example, on the topic of connected products?
Monsieur Breton.
Alors là, beaucoup de questions. D'abord,
that was a real string of questions. I've always wanted to raise awareness among European citizens about their data and the fact that their data belong to them and has value. That's pivotal to me because often I've come across individuals and data who don't look after their data even though it belongs to them. So understand me in this way. Data belongs to the citizens, and one should be able to do what one wants with one's data. There is other data that is free, and we have fought for the free circulation of some data, which is crucial for Europe. What I want to say is that in the single market of data, I'm thinking particularly about industrial data. Some data needs to be maintained or kept by companies because it's key for research, development and innovation. Other data needs to be pooled or shared. It may be anonymized or not, but this data can contribute to progress on areas such as AI. So it's twin track. There's two sides, freedom and protection. So we're trying to understand data on our continent, and I intend to put those rules in place. Now, cybersecurity, you've been a rapporteur on a report there. Let me congratulate you on your work, which I was keeping a very close eye on in the past. And I think we need to raise awareness among companies. It's true. There is the issue of cybersecurity, particularly, or also when we manufacture objects, items, or pieces. So cybersecurity and cybersecurity in design is extremely important. I think we need to go even further, take the next step.
Question, Mr. Andriessen.
Thank you. For us, a more concrete answer would have been better. I would like to comment that on your first answer, but for us another topic is important if we want to strengthen or make the European Union fit for the digital age, and that's an independent commission. And coming from different digital companies like Atos, you have a lot of experiences and there is a chance in it, but there are still maybe also some problems related to that. And you announced in your written answers, and you already answered that in some of the questions earlier, that you will recuse yourself from any financial decisions concerning Atos. But for us, it's not only about financial decisions, it's also about regulation, and not for repeating the other colleagues, but for saying that Atos is working on cybersecurity, on AI, on telecommunication, on research, on e-health, on space, and on many other topics. I would like to hear from you, which kind of decisions do you think you can be part on related to the digital industry without Atos being affected? So I want to know, what do you think you can do as a commissioner with that portfolio without having a relation to Atos?
Monsieur Breton.
Je comprends votre question. Je vais...
I understand your question, and I'll repeat You've referred to various areas that Atos works in. Luckily, Atos isn't the only company in the sector. Out of a 45 million euro fund, Atos got 0.01% of those subsidies over the last 4 years. So 15 million euros was what Atos received last year. Luckily, there's a whole host of other companies out there. I'm interested in all of the companies. I'm not taking a step away from the sector as a whole. Let me go back to when I was minister in France. My portfolio included the telecom sector, which I was familiar with. I regulated that sector, though. I used all the wherewithal I could to deal with problems, to sniff them out, and I was intransigent. You know, there are lawyers here, and they're perfectly able to talk about law. I'm French. But I won't take a step backwards if an issue concerns France. I'll have to be involved. But I don't have any vested interests anymore, and I will be serving Europe's interests as outlined in my portfolio.
Breton, next speaker is